To talk to you about what data science actually is, let me give you a beautiful example. Now, picture this or imagine this. Let us say you and your friends have gone on a vacation, maybe to Goa, maybe to Himachal Pradesh, or wherever it is around the world, right? So you and your 15 other friends decided to go. So of course you have a lot of fun. You click a lot of pictures, you click a lot of selfies, you click a lot of group pictures and all of that. And now you want to upload it to social media. Now, what's the first thing you do after uploading it to social media, right? You want to tag your friends and, if you've clicked, let's say 10 pictures in total, which has 15 friends each, that is what? 150 times you have to go and tag each friend, right? So total tags you'll be doing is 150. Now imagine going and seeing, finding each person's face, clicking on it, seeing their ID, searching for them, tagging them and doing this 150 times. It does not make sense, right? But one thing you might have noticed on popular social media sites such as Facebook is that as soon as you put out a video, it will automatically start tagging people for you. It will automatically recognize that, the person is present. Now that is because of a concept we call as face recognition. And guess what? Face recognition is a very important part of data science as well. So at the end of it, when Facebook automatically tags your friend, data science is at play. Now this is a very nice example which I thought I wanted to include. Now, I have another important example here, guys. When you think about weather prediction right now, what is the easiest way that you guys can predict the weather today? Maybe you'll do a quick Google search. Maybe you'll ask your Google Assistant, you'll ask Siri, you'll ask Alexa. So, hey Alexa, what's the weather like today or tomorrow, right? It is that convenient. All you have to say is one statement and you will have the answer to it. But let us go back maybe 20 years or 50 years or 100 years back in the day. The way that they used to predict the weather is to actually go outside, look at the clouds, look at the current weather and then see if the next weather is anticipatable or not. Now when I say that, if there are dark looking clouds, very black clouds, there's a good chance it might rain, there might be a hailstorm or it might snow. If it is clear and sunny, there's a good chance it might not rain, correct? This is how it was done then. Now we have entire meteorological departments that are set up everywhere across the globe to make sure that weather can be tracked accurately in the future as well, right? To say the current weather is easy. All you have to do is look up at the sky. But to tell you what the weather is like next month, next year, at that point of time, that month, that date, that time, right? That takes, a lot of skills, of course. And next, it takes a lot of hunting around, a lot of research, a lot of analysis. This analysis, this research, this entire world is powered by data science. Now, predicting the weather is something nice. I absolutely love it because if I am headed out, I definitely would want to know if I have to take an umbrella. If I'm planning a vacation somewhere, I have to know what clothes do I pack. Do I pack winter clothes? Do I pack my rain cover and all of that things, right? That's fun. Here is another important aspect of data science that I am impressed by thoroughly. It is in emergency services. Now, for all of you guys who stay on the coastal cities or the coastal places anywhere around the world, you know that the coastal places are sometimes prone to the forces of nature, right? A tsunami can be extremely devastating across the world. Now, when I say tsunami, I have goosebumps out here because it is a force of nature which no humans can stand against and win, right? When Mother Nature decides to just go ahead and punch in all that water from the oceans to the coast, it is devastation. Now, thankfully, we have multiple systems in place where we have sensors which will detect as soon as there is an earthquake and start an alert and all of that. But with the help of data science, now the entire process is automatically done. So what happens is that as soon as there is an underwater earthquake, which is the primary cause for tsunamis, is detected, there is, instead of waiting for a human being to sound an alarm, it automatically gets sounded on the coast. So that way people can evacuate and get to safety. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a matter of life and death here, right? So data science is being used for not just this critical application, but hundreds of other critical applications as well. An example such as face recognition is beautiful to look at, very convenient. But if you know that it is extremely powerful in saving lives around the world, right? Especially now more than ever in the world of healthcare, data science is a key important player, right? So we are living among the COVID-19 pandemic at the time, of recording this particular video. One important thing you have to know is that even before World Health Organization declared that there was a pandemic or a novel coronavirus at hand, there was a company who used an artificial intelligence model, a machine learning model, and they actually detected a rise in the number of cases in Wuhan, China, right? Pneumonia cases. They could pick up that there was something unusual going on there, and with that they said, hey, something fishy is going on here. The pneumonia cases have never been this high, so something is wrong. And they were the first people. An artificial intelligence model, a data science powered model, was the first in the entire world to say that there can be a pandemic. That is how powerful this domain is, ladies and gentlemen. So with that, I am sure you will have a question saying, okay, so all of this is amazing. What is data science? Well, to tell you what data science is, let me break it down in the most simplest way possible. Data science is a study where we actually try to make use of raw data and convert it into useful information. Now, whenever you think of the word raw data, you might be confused saying, okay, so how do you define data as raw and processed, right? I'll give you an analogy. What is your favorite food, right? For example, if my favorite food is French fries, now French fries, well, the potatoes has to be cut and then they have to be fried and then we can eat it. I cannot eat a potato raw and call it French fries, right? It has to be processed. In data science, we do a similar process to data. We take it, we process it, and at the end of that process, we will have an usable entity, which is called information, guys. So never confuse this particular thing. Never confuse data and information. Data can consist of things which you might use and which you might not use. Information is an important entity where majority of whatever is there in that bucket is everything that is useful for you. That's why it's called information, right? Now, let me give you more examples to talk about what data science is. When you think about the month of maybe November, December and January, right? This is the time when people are gearing up and getting ready for Christmas. They're getting ready to celebrate New Year. Everyone is excited and all of that, right? So what do? They go on to buy cakes, they buy toys, they buy sweaters. I mean, I absolutely love Christmas sweaters, right? I find it amazing. It's very comfortable and all of that. So I myself bought so many things such as chocolates, gifts and whatnot during the New Year's, during Christmas as well. Now, if you were a shop owner who was selling all of these things, how would you know how much of stock you should have, right? Now, maybe last year, 100 people walked into your store and bought something. Maybe they bought chocolates from you. This year, let's say if you just buy another 100 chocolates to sell, what if 1,000 people show up? What if 150 people, 200 people show up? You are going to lose the business of all those other people, right? Think about it. So, as a business owner, it is important for you that you know how many customers can walk into your shop. Guess what? With the help of data science, you can actually analyze all the past data from previous years and come up with a conclusion saying, hey, I can predict that this year and next year or the year after that, I will have these many customers who will come in. Now, based on that, if you make purchases yourself, you can sell it out, make a profit, have a nice New Year's Eve or whatever it is, right? Think about it. I just gave you 2 or 3 examples of data science now. If you're watching this, and I'm sure you're watching this on a video viewing platform such as YouTube, right? When you're watching this on YouTube, Vimeo, or wherever it is, all of these tools that in fact you're using to watch this particular video, they are powered by data science as well, right? So we live in a world where data science is literally everywhere around us. The most simplest task of you opening a calendar, opening your calculator on your phone or whatever it is involves so much on the back end to analyze and assess whatever it is that you do, right? So that's the most important thing. Now, I am sure you guys will be very curious if you have clicked on this full course video. I am sure that you are very much interested to learn data science, and of course I'm going to do everything in my power to give you all the knowledge there is to know about data science in this particular full course video. But you have to understand this, a very very important point even before you learn data science is that having a career in this, right? If you get a job in the domain of data science, it is extremely rewarding. Now, data science is actually not a new concept. Before, people thought data science is okay, it's just one of the computer science concepts, it's one of the information technology or IT concept, right? Now, guess what? Over the last couple of years, it has been so powerful that people are saying that it is one of the most trending computer science careers of all time. They are not saying that it's one of the most trending IT career, even bigger than that. They're saying it's the most trending computer science career at all. How beautiful is that, right? So, having a career in data science is extremely promising. It is highly rewarding, and believe it or not, it is always in demand. People, individuals, startup companies, established MNCs, all of these guys require data scientists or some form of data science in one way or another when you look at it, right? If you just spend 10 or 15 minutes of your time thinking about where or what problem a company is trying to solve, you can use the concept of data science there. You just have to think, you have to understand the approach of it, and then you can hone in on the domain and eventually work on that, right? So the takeaway from this slide is that if you have a career in data science, if you're very serious, if you sit through this entire session and understand data science into its depths that I'm going to be teaching you all, it is going to be very rewarding for you all in terms of knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if you have a career in it, well, it's going to be a beautiful one, because I myself am involved in data science for I don't know how many years now, and it's been an absolutely beautiful ride. Why data science is required, right? Again, let me take you back into the past. Let me take you to 1969, July 20th. This was the day humans first landed on the moon. Did you know certain facts about this particular computer which helped humans land on the moon in 1969? The entire computer was guided by a processor which is only 2 megahertz in clock. The processors in your phone right now are 1,000 times faster, or even 10,000 times faster than this. We have computers which are millions and millions of times faster than this, right? And guess the amount of RAM that was involved in taking humans from the earth to the moon. It was 0.004 MB. It was not even 1 MB of RAM that the entire computer was using, right? So that's an important thing you should know. Today's computers have like what? My computer itself has somewhere around 64 gigabytes of RAM. It's almost running a 5 gigahertz clock on its processor. That's literally a million times faster than the entire computer that landed people on Mars. So the computing power we have today is amazing. And here is why data science is very important. We generate so much amounts of data today. It's amazing, right? What is the world population, guys? The world population, roughly is somewhere around 7.6 billion people, right? 7.6 billion. Did you know that we send somewhere around 310 billion emails every single day? 310 billion, right? So that is so many times more than the entire world population itself. If that amused you, read the next couple of lines. We generate 26 lakh terabytes worth of data every single day. Now, what is the total amount of storage you have on your laptop, your computer, or your phone? It can be somewhere around 64 GB, 500 GB, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 4 terabytes, right? Imagine storing 26 lakh terabytes every single day. That is the entire amount of data that the world generates for every 24 hours. When the sun goes up until the sun goes down once, This is the amount of data we're generating. So with the amount of computing power we have and the amount of data we have at hand, if we bring these two together, the amount of insight we can take away from this computing power and this much data is the reason why data science is so popular right now. With data and processing power, you can not only tell where you went wrong in the past, but you can predict what happens in the future. That is the power of data science, ladies and gentlemen. Are curious to understand, well, how does data science work? What is the architecture? What is the backend? What makes data science work, right? Now that is exactly what we are going to discuss here. Now, when I say data science architecture, there is a life cycle which is in play here. There are 5 important steps which makes data science what it is. Right now, we're going to discuss all of these. It goes from left to right, as you can see on your screen right now with the arrows. Firstly, we have data acquisition. Afterwards, we have data pre-processing. Next, we have machine learning. After that, we have data visualization. And the last step is driving key insights, right? Let us go on to check each of them individually now. When I say data acquisition, what do I mean? Data acquisition is one of these terms which means that I have to bring in data and I have to, acquire data, right? So when you're working in an organization, bringing in data is very important. Now, yes, that is important, but it is not only one place that you'll be bringing in the data. You can have your data stored in the office server. It can be in a cloud computing platform. It can be stored, somewhere else on an offshore server. It can be, data from competitors, data from your Instagram. It can be data from social media. It can be data from a pen drive, a hard disk, whatever it is, you get the point, right? So the first step in data science is to bring in data. Only when you have the data, you can work with it, right? So knowing that you can use these varieties of places to bring in data and store it and work with it is step 1. Now, data is a very important entity, right? So many times data is private. Your privacy is the most important concern for many companies across the globe today, because yes, there are many things that you do not want a lot of people to know. So whenever data is brought in, it should only be accessed by the people who are authorized to access it and not everyone. Guess what? In step 1, data can be stored in a way where only an authenticated person can access it. So that is very important as well. But then to go on to do this in step number 1, you are going to require knowledge of how you can work with databases, because databases are what we use to store the data in step 1. Now this is the end of step 1. Step 1, you've basically brought in data from multiple sources and you've stored it in one place. After this, you are going to work on cleaning the data, which is step number 2. Now, why do you have to clean the data? At the start of this module, I mentioned that data is a raw entity. It consists of things which are useful to us and useless to us. So whatever is useless, we have to remove it out. We cannot say, okay, anyway, I don't use it, let's keep it. No. If you do that, what happens is, in the next step, which is machine learning, right? Machine learning algorithms learn based on the data we feed to it. If we are feeding wrong, incorrect, and nonsensical data to it, it is going to be highly inaccurate. If you provide the wrong data to a machine learning algorithm, and let's say you're trying to detect the picture of a cat and a picture of a dog, it will see a cat and say it's a dog. It will see a dog and say it's a cat, and it's going to say that accurately. It is doing it incorrect because the data it sees is incorrect. To make sure things like this do not happen, data has to be cleaned. There are many ways of processing the data and cleaning the data. In the next couple of modules, we are going to be discussing all of this practically as well. So make sure you stick around to watch the entire duration of this course, because it is going to immensely help you understand the entire world of data science, right? Anyway, coming back, step number 1 was talking about bringing in data. Step number 2 spoke about how you can clean the data and keep it nice and ready for step number 3, which is machine learning. Now, machine learning is an amazing application of data science, because here we train machines, we teach machines to do certain jobs so many times quicker than us human beings and so much more efficiently, right? So what happens in machine learning is that we use algorithms, we use structured set of steps to actually go on to process the data and teach a machine of what it should do with that data. Once a machine learning algorithm knows what it has to do with the data, it is going to learn without the help of a human being. After that, it's going to be called as a machine learning model. Now, a machine learning model is going to be only accurate if your data is accurate, hence step number 2, right? So, if your data is correct, your machine learning algorithm is going to be beautifully accurate and work fine in most of the cases. If your data is not clean, it is not going to work fine, guys. That's a very important point that you have to note. One important thing that we always get asked is how important is machine learning for data science? I can tell you this is that it is the most important, it is the most vital application that we have for data science today. Now, wherever you look at data science job, there is a good chance that machine learning might be asked there in a majority of cases. That is because the entire world right now is using machine learning in one way or another, right? So guys, you really should know the value of machine learning, and you have to understand that machine learning is like a cherry on the cake. The cake is data science. Machine learning itself, winds it up really nicely is my point here. So step number 3 after cleaning your data is feeding it into a machine learning algorithm, training the machine learning algorithm to work, and later we come to step number 4. Step number 4, we are talking about data visualization. Now, before we talk about step 4, let us talk about step 3 a little. At the end of your machine learning model, it is going to give you a textual output. It's going to say, hey, I detected this XYZ percentage of accuracy in this model or whatever it is. It's going to give you an output which you can understand if you know machine learning, or you have some sort of technical knowledge there. What if you have to convey this result to a non-technical person? What if you have to convey this result to maybe a board member, a director, a non-technical person, an MBA graduate, anyone in your company? Well, this is where data visualization comes into the picture. With data visualization, we convert numbers into beautiful looking graphs and dashboards. With this graph, not just one graph, it can be a series of graphs, hundreds of graphs. With these graphs, it becomes very, very simple to convey a point, because what would you do, guys? You tell me. If you had an Excel sheet which has like 500,000, 5 lakh entries and 2 beautiful graphs which is going to tell you everything you need to know, would you read through, all this, I would say, junk, because you would not understand anything in a complex data, with that amount of data, especially on an Excel sheet? Or would you look at 2 or 3 beautiful looking graphs and understand what it means? I am sure you said the second option, right? Exactly my point. There is in fact a very nice fact if you did not know. The human brain can understand images 3,000 times faster than text. 3,000 times faster. Now, when you can convey something 3,000 times faster, why would you want to do it slower, guys? Think about it, right? So it is very, very important that you take an output which is only understandable by a small number of people and make sure that it can be understood by everyone, right? This is an art. You're trying to tell a story with the data that you have. You're trying to solve a problem by using art in the form of graphs and dashboards, right? That's a very important thing. Now, step number 4 is important, but guess what? You're going to use this result. You're going to use the result from step number 4 to go into step number 5, which is deriving key insights. Now, when I spoke to you about why data science is required, I spoke about how data science is, used to solve problems across the globe, right? Every company who is using data science in one way or another are using it to solve a problem or multiple problems. The end solution will usually be an insight that you derive, an approach which will get you closer to the solution or take you to the solution itself, right? That is step number 5 here. Using these visualization, you can understand so many different things. You can understand why the company went wrong with maybe something in the past, or you want to predict the future. You can do all of that as well. Now, I just told you 2 cases. There are many more cases. You can find out all the gaps that are existent in the processes that you already have, fix those gaps and make your company more efficient. You can look at KPIs, which stands for key performance indicators, analyze who's doing what job, are they doing it effectively, is the process correct, is the process efficient, can it be done better. All of these questions can be answered very beautifully with the help of data science. Components of data science, right? Now you know how data science works, now you know the architecture of data science, but there are these components which will make data science work, right? Think of data science like a car. Now you know what the car does, but do you know what are the components that are used to build the car? That is exactly what we're going to check out now. Now there are four important components of data science in my opinion that you definitely should know about. These four components are the dataset, a programming language, a user interface, and the problem. Now I'm going to walk you through what each of these mean. Firstly, the component number one we're going to discuss is the dataset. Look at the name of the video you're watching right now. Data science. Data literally is the first name in the entire concept, in the entire domain, right? So data is the most important thing in data science. Data sets are these things where we store, collect, and process data in an efficient way, which we can use in step number 2, which was pre-processing the data, right? And at this point of time, you really should know that datasets are the most important aspects of data science in a way where it is so much more important to data science than you might have thought of before. The quality of data, the quantity of data is going to directly impact the performance of maybe a machine learning algorithm, maybe an artificial intelligence model, and all of these, right? So it becomes very, very important that you understand how one can go on to finish all those steps without missing an individual step, guys. It's very important. So this is component number one, having the data for data science. The second component is the most important one, is the programming languages that you're going to use in data science. Now we get a lot of questions asking, I am not good at programming languages. Do I need programming languages for data science? Can I do data science without programming? All of these questions, right? I have one answer for all these questions. You require programming languages compulsorily for the world of data science. In one way or another, you're going to be using a programming language in either a small form, long form, whatever it is, right? Because you can look at data and you can understand. Now you have been trained right from your childhood to look at a cat and say it's a cat, and look at a dog and say it's a dog. Your computer only understands zeros and ones. It might seem to be the most intelligent thing there, which is going to choose songs for you, it is going to recommend videos for you, it's going to be your personal assistant. Everything is fine. But at the end of the day, your machine at its most core level is just zeros and ones. That's it. Now, for you to communicate, you cannot communicate with your computers in zeros and ones. It's going to be very, very, it's just not possible, right? At the end of the day, it is, not efficient to go on to do that. To talk to your machine and to make sure your machine understands data, you have to use a programming language. The most popular programming languages we have in this particular domain is Python and R programming languages. Now I am sure if you've clicked on this video, you might already know that Python is a top programming language in today's world. If you're asking why, again, we're going to discuss Python, completely in another module in the upcoming sections here. But you have to understand at this point of time that Python is such an easy to use programming language. It is used in not only data science, but multiple different domains out there. It is very easy to use. It is very powerful. It is very efficient. It helps you solve a lot of problems. That is the reason of why Python became the #1 programming language, right? Now I've put in another programming language there. It's called as R programming language. R programming language is also a really nice programming language to use, but it is very popular in the domain of data analysis. Now, if you're looking towards data analysis, you usually start out by learning Python and then learn R, because R is completely built for data analysis itself, right? Now, since you're looking at data science, I would suggest sticking to Python, learning Python, understanding Python, because it is the requirement for you guys to go through and understand data science entirely. So, if you were to ask me, or if anyone asks me how important is a programming language for data science, I am going to say that it is 9 out of 10 important. It is a must have in my opinion. Do not worry if at this point of time that you might not have worked with a programming language, you're not good at a programming language, maybe you tried it in the past and you realize it's not for you. If you learn a programming language in a creative way, if you learn a programming language in a way where it is interesting to you, the number of things you can do is going to amuse you thoroughly, because I have come across so many people in my life who have learned programming languages and they did not like it because they couldn't do it well. But they started learning it differently. They started keeping a structured way of learning a programming language, and now they are master programmers in their own domain. And I'm confident that every one of you guys who are watching this video, right? Every single one of you, you can become good at, you can become good at definitely learning a programming language and using it in the domain of data science, guys. Because when you're looking at the concepts of data science, for example, machine learning, a programming language is a compulsory requirement for you to communicate with your machine as well. Right. Coming to component number 3. Component number 3, we talk about a development environment. Now, what do I mean by a development environment? Now, you already know that you need Python. You have to learn Python as a programming language. The next thing is you have to type in Python to your computer and make it understand. So you need an environment where you can work with Python, right? That is called as an IDE, an integrated development environment. Now there are many integrated environments for Python. You can use PyCharm, you can use the Python command line itself. You have Google Colab, you have Jupyter Notebook. So you have so many different ways that you can write Python code. One important thing that you always have to understand is that using a user interface is very much advantageous. Why? Because here, once you use a user interface, you writing the program becomes easier. Now, these days, multiple user interfaces, I'm not sure if you know this, will guess what code you are about to type and eventually type it out for you automatically. So your amount of typing the code is drastically down because the user interface itself guesses what you're typing and just puts it out for you. How convenient is that, right? Think about another important point of what happens when you're programming. When you're programming, there is a good chance that, every now and then you have an error, you have a warning and all of that. I'm sure if you have ever done programming in your life, you would have seen an error or a warning, right? With the help of a good user interface, it can actually help you solve, debug and understand the error better in a way where you do not have to spend a good amount of time with it. A good integrated development environment and a user interface will guide you in a way where you know how to solve the error. That is how important, a user interface is. So the advantage is that you become super efficient. You will have time to concentrate on the logic, time to solve the problem rather than breaking your head about syntax, about how complicated a programming language can be. All of that is gone. Programming now is very easy if you use a good integrated development environment. Again, we're going to check out all of these practically in the upcoming modules as well. With this, we come to the fourth component, which is the last component in my opinion in data science, which is the problem itself. Now, when I say a problem is the component, why do I say this is because without a problem, can you have a solution? First of all, you have to realize that there is a problem and then work on solving that problem. So it is a component without which you cannot solve it, correct? So understanding that there is a problem that exists is the first step of solving the problem itself. In the case of data science, the huge advantage here is that, it will make you think in so many different ways. You will be thinking out of the box. Now, let me give you an analogy. Think about your favorite ice cream shop near your house if you eat ice cream. Is there only one route that you can take to that particular ice cream shop? Don't you think you can go through like unlimited number of roads to get there? It sounds meaningless, but if the ice cream store is 3 roads away, you can go 1,000 kilometers away and then take another route and come to that same ice cream shop. That is an inefficient way of doing it, of course, but an efficient way of knowing is that what is the 3 or 4 quickest ways you can reach the ice cream shop. This approach of you thinking in multiple different ways is gonna be one of these reasons which will help you solve problems in data science, guys. So when you are effective at solving problems, eventually you get amazing at the entire domain of data science itself. So this is the fourth important component